Sliding it left side via Fani at the end line. Cutting it back, cleared, not done. Blanco scores! Sebastian Blanco does it again! The Timbers needed a big moment. They get it from Sebastian Blanco. They find Valeri in the box. He leaves Niezgoda. Back to Valeri, who has scored! It's moments, big players. 2-1 Timbers. Diego Valeri does it again. Here they come. They've got numbers. Polo left side, cuts it back on the top of the box. Polo shot is a fantastic goal! Andy Polo! And he does a little dance. It's 3-1 golazo from Andy Polo. Onward to the semifinals of the MLS is Back tournament. The Portland Timbers with a 3-1 win over New York City FC in Florida tonight, and they are one of the final 4 teams remaining at this unprecedented tournament. We are live at Providence Park. This is Portland Timbers postgame presented by Old Trapper. I'm Jake Zivin alongside Nat Borchers. It wasn't the best start for the Timbers tonight, Nat, but big players in big moments get the job done again for this club.
Yeah, you said it, Jake, and this wasn't their best performance, let's be honest. In the first half, they really struggled to dictate the tempo. They were sitting in more of a middle to low block, and they just weren't really finding the game, and it just didn't feel like they were going to be able to get themselves into this. But Sebastian Blanco, he shows up in a big-time moment just before the end of the first half to score the goal, which was just a critical moment. And then from there on out, it felt like the Timbers grew into the game a little bit more, but they had other players step up to play big time in those moments as well. Diego Valeri steps up to score his goal. Andy Polo with a surprise goal from distance. And I think overall, again, it's just another example of this team finding different ways to win in this tournament, especially fighting, the rest that they had very few days of rest. The legs were a little bit tired, so a fantastic result.
Yeah, the Timbers just 3 days of rest coming into this match. New York City had 5 days of rest coming in. And as we look at the highlights from this match, that was maybe apparent early on. The Timbers concede first for the first time at the MLS's Back tournament, a penalty kick from Jesus Medina.
Yeah, it's a penalty kick, a little bit sloppy from Laris Mabiala, but just look at this touch of class from Sebastian Blanco. He hadn't had a chance on goal until this moment in time. It's a misclearance from NYCFC, and he punishes them for their mistake.
Then in the 65th minute, Diego Valeri.
And Diego Valeri just doing Diego Valeri things in the box, ruthless in the box. It really comes off the pass, though, from Sebastian Blanco. Niezgoda helps create it as well, and then he just hits it to the near post and hits a goal.
76th minute, how about this from Andy Polo?
Yeah, we didn't know where this came from. Andy Polo just put his head down. He said, you know what, I'm going to finish this thing off for the Timbers, and look at that ball. He just smashes that ball to the side netting there. Goalkeeper has a little bit of a chance on it, but Andy Polo all smiles after that goal.
Just his second goal, all competitions for the Timbers. So here is where we stand at the MLS's Back tournament. Started with 26 teams, then a round of 16. Quarterfinals, the Timbers advanced 3-1, and now semifinals. The Portland Timbers side of the bracket against the Philadelphia Union on Wednesday night, 5 o'clock Pacific time on FS1. When they got to Orlando, there were 26 teams staying at 2 hotels in this bubble. 2 teams obviously didn't even make it to the first game. 24 teams in the group stage, down to 16, down to 8. Now there's just 4 teams left for the next 4 or 5 days as the Timbers get ready for this match. It's going to feel empty. They'll probably feel a little special as well. This is big that they've made it this far.
It's kind of like a youth tournament.
Yeah.
I think about when you start whittling down the teams and teams start leaving, it gets quieter and quieter. You just see the same teams kind of huddled around, and you're special for being there. And I think the Timbers, they've deserved this. They've worked very, very hard to get to this point. I think the tactics have been spot on. I think the substitutions, the depth has been really important for this team. But again, it's those big-time players that have really stepped up and made this tournament run special for the Timbers.
So Timbers and Philly in one semifinal. The other semifinal is Orlando and Minnesota. The 3 other finalists, semifinalists, Philadelphia, Orlando, and Minnesota have one combined MLS playoff win in 18 total seasons. The Timbers have 9 in 9 total seasons. As a club, they've got to be the favorite, right? The biggest club remaining at MLS's back.
Yeah, I would think so. I think experience plays a huge role in these moments when you think about, okay, you've been there, you've done that, you know what to expect. There's going to be big-time pressure in these moments, and you're going to see the younger teams are probably going to crumble or rise to the top depending on what they do. But I think that when you have a team that's experienced, it definitely gives you an added amount of confidence. And Gio's team, they've been there. You've got Valeri, you've got Chara, Laris Mabiala, Sebastian Blanco, Steve Clark. These guys have been there, done that, so I think it definitely puts them in a good position.
Now, speaking of a guy who's been there, who's done that again and again and again, Diego Valeri spoke with our Richard Farley after the match.
Valeri, after the 3-1 victory over NYCFC, Diego, the game changed at halftime when you came on and the other substitutes started coming on. On the field, what was the difference?
Yeah, I mean, the game was open, and the idea was trying to be clear with the ball, try to find the chances, those spaces in behind the back line, and I think it worked really well, and happy that we make we won the game and we advanced.
Diego, this is the 30th day that you're here in Orlando, and you're one of 4 teams that are left in this tournament. What would it mean to win MLS's back?
It means a lot for the club, a lot for us, because it's another trophy, and you always want to win everything you compete, and now being that long without our family, without our supporters, it's very important for us to go back to Portland with the trophy.
Congratulations.
You're at the point, right, as kind of Diego mentioned, you might as well win this thing. You've been away from your family for so long, you might as well go forward and win it. And with a guy like Diego Valeri on the team, it's certainly going to increase your chances. Again, he takes his moment tonight, which ends up being the game-winning goal. Yeah,
I liked what he said there, Jake, just about coming into the game and finding some of those pockets, behind the back line. I don't think the Timbers were able to stretch that back line very often in this game. And Valeri came in, and he had a purpose there. You could see him making some runs in behind the back line, just combining with Nias Goda and Sebastian Blanco to make the attack a little bit more fluid. He definitely did that, and I think it was really important for him to come into the game and make that kind of mark, because he did sit on the bench for the first 45 minutes and get his rest.
The decision to give him rest, right? We've seen that from Gio this year, taking him off maybe earlier in games. Didn't start against LAFC as well. How important is it for Gio to manage Diego Valeri's workload at this point in his career?
I think it's huge. I think it's massive when you can manage a player who's got a lot of miles on those legs, because certainly when you play games, 3 days apart, you're going to get the wear and tear, and you see some struggles later in the game. So if you have the opportunity to do that with a minimum amount of risk, which obviously Gio did that successfully tonight, you give yourself a huge boost to be able to start potentially Diego Valeri in this next match and have him fresh and ready to go.
3 players have played every minute for the Timbers this year: Steve Clark, Sebastian Blanco, and Diego Chara, who played in his 300th match for the Timbers, all competitions tonight. And after the match, he was one of the players at the post-game press conference. Here's Diego Chara and Andy Polo meeting with the media.
Man, that's a baller style. That was 05 awesome for you?
Yeah, 05 and 06. 05 and 06. 05, those 2 seasons, yeah. 05 and 06. So Galaxy beat Revolution. Revolution 05? They beat Revolution? I didn't work MLS Cup because my cousin was married.
Right now he's a stronger mentality, and in every game he's showing his best performance.
Well, first of all, we knew that we had to be ready if we were required to enter the game as a sub. So that's exactly what we did. It was a great assist by Seba. In regards of the celebration, it was for my daughter, really. She was asking me for that celebration, and I just wanted to give that to her.
I think it's no better way to to play my 300 game with the same jersey, the Timber jersey. I'm very happy, proud of this team, and then now we have the opportunity to play the semis against a great team that Philly is playing right now. And yes, I feel really, really happy to make my 300 games with the Timber jersey.
They call him the Godfather, Nat. Diego Chara, a legend, right? 300 games now for the Timbers. First player to reach that, all competitions for this club. He embodies, I think, the club more than anybody.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, to be with the club for as long as Diego Chara has been with the club since basically the day one, right? Almost day one with the club since MLS inception. Yeah. just the way this guy goes about, his practice. Every single day he puts in the work. He's so humble. He's always got that smile on his face, and he's a leader, on and off the pitch. Certainly a talisman for the club, and for him to play 300 games is just so awesome for him, and I think for everybody involved with this club to see how far he's come, and it's awesome that he's also been with the club this long. In a day and age when players rotate between teams, Diego Chara has stuck with the Portland Timbers, and the Portland Timbers are very happy to have him.
10 seasons and still going. He told us this week he wants to play till he's 40. He's 34, so good news. Can he do it? 6 more years?
He's like Benjamin Button, as Gavin Wilkinson will say. He just turns back the years. He gets younger and younger, and he just gets better and better.
Maybe 6 more years with Diego Chara.
I don't see
for
why
the
not.
Portland Timbers. Hey, he's still playing at the highest level in MLS at his position. Let's take a look at the stats from tonight's match. The one that matters most, 3-1. The Timbers winners over New York City FC in the quarterfinals to advance to the semifinals. New York City significantly outpossessed the Timbers. It seemed like that was the game plan, right? That was by design.
I feel like with what Gio wanted to do to give the players a little bit more rest, they wanted to rest behind the ball and rest in a defensive position. So I think that's why they wanted to sit in a little bit, and that's why they conceded some of the possession to NYCFC. But again, it played in their favor. They were able to get the big-time moments in transition and open up NYCFC.
Well, Giovanni Savarese, he made the plan. The plan came through. The Timbers 3-1 winners over New York City FC. After the match, Gio met with the media. Here is our Alaska Airlines check-in with Timbers head coach Giovanni Savarese.
Yes, I think everyone played a very important role in the game today. Everybody had exactly something that they needed to do in this game. And remember, we didn't have that much time to be able to recover, only 3 days from last match, so we have to be smart in the way we went about this match. And everyone really contributed to make sure that we got a great win. Diego came right there in halftime. It was something that we planned. He came in and did an unbelievable job. Was fresh, was able to find good packets, created opportunities, and it was fantastic. Like Polo, like all the players today play at a top level. I think the team showed a strong mentality. I thought it was important that we were able to find the equalizer right after we got scored. I think we had a little slow start, but then little by little we start picking it up, moving the ball better, finding spaces. And then I thought that the second half we had a tremendous performance and a well-deserved win. There is a great feeling for us to be able to continue to go forward. We're taking one game at a time. Credit to the guys, they've been incredible in training, in the games. The way we have managed the situations have been fantastic. And today was a special day because it was Chara's 300 match. So it was a meaningful and very important for us, and we wanted Chara to remember in a very special way. That's what we have. We could have came to this match and complain and said that we have less days, where we're tired, we have the players that haven't rested enough. But it's about figuring things out and the players coming and showing up. And at the end of the day, all that you plan only works when at the end you get a win. And today we were able to execute well. And we saw that the guys all participated in a good way to help each other to go through this difficult match, and we had to do it this way because we had less days to train, to rest. Now we're gonna have also less days. We have to figure it out, but the heart of the guys, the way they're going about it, it's been fantastic. And I echo what Diego said. Seba has been great in this tournament. We know what we have in him. He shows it every single practice, every single day when he's with us. And this year, his mind is clear. He's doing an excellent job. And you need players like him and others like Polo and everybody that we have that can make a difference when they're playing, because those are the moments that when those players make these situations and these type of goals and plays is when the team definitely achieved what we have achieved today. So we're very glad that we have this type of players like Seba, Valeri, Chara, Polo, and others. So I think we had a slow start. We had some moments in which we were a little bit exposed. We tried to make sure that we defended well, but then we opened ourselves a little bit. And then the PK came in, which I have to look at it again. But the response was fantastic from the guys to be able to equalize and go into the locker rooms 1-1. That was very, very important. We lift up towards the end of the first half our play, the ball movement, the space that we were taking. But we had a plan in place, and part of the plan, guys executed. So, for example, Loria played 45 minutes in which he did his job. He did what we asked him to do, and it was perfect. We had a plan, Valeri to come in halftime. He came in and he contributed in a big way. Polo, Niesgora, Mora, the guys that were already from the beginning. So it was a collective effort and a great performance from the guys in a well-planned, I think well-executed plan that the guys were able to execute well.
Nat, Gio mentioned that as far as rest is concerned, the Timbers just had to deal with what they had presented to them, which was only 3 days rest, with New York City having only 5 days rest. They're in the same conundrum now, getting ready for Philadelphia on Wednesday. 3 days of rest for the Timbers. Philadelphia played 2 days ago. They're going to have 5 days of rest. Timbers are going to have to hurdle that mountain again, but it seems like they have the right attitude about that, right? Just go out and get the job done. Yeah,
certainly, and it is definitely a competitive disadvantage when you're able to get face a team that has 2 days fewer rest than you do. Just like how the situation was today, and I think that it's really interesting that the tournament was set up that way, but smart from Gio not to complain about it, not to make a big deal about it, because then the players hear about it and then they start making excuses, and it kind of just is a domino effect. So kudos to him for not saying anything about it, dealing with it, and then he made the substitutions, the changes. Pablo Bonilla comes in for Duval. You had Marvin Loria come in for Valeri, and I think it ended up working out. So I'll be interested to see what kind of changes Gio makes looking forward, because he's going to have to make a few changes to rest a few of these legs.
And one player who has started 4 of the 5 games for the Timbers at the MLS's back tournament is Eric Williamson. And after the match, he spoke with our Richard Farley.
Eric, why did the game change? What did you guys do to take it from the first half to where you were dominating play in the second?
I think we settled into the game well. First 20 minutes was a little bit of defending, and we had to get going after that. We conceded early, and I think it was kind of a wake-up call. And from then on, I think guys came out and was ready to play, and we were on the front foot from then on.
Team is in the last 4. You've been a major part of the team getting here. What does that mean for you personally in terms of your career?
It's a major step in my career. I think it's building for sure. There's a lot to take from these games, and it's good to have the guys around me supporting me and pushing me to do these things.
Nat, Gio has shown trust in Eric Williamson to start him 4 of the 5 matches. There was so much praise for him after the first game against the LA Galaxy. Now that he's had 4 matches as a starter, what do you make of him at this point in the tournament?
I've just seen a ton of growth from Eric Williamson. This has been an important year for him to step up and play that double pivot next to Diego Chara. He's just got so many tools and so much talent and skill, technical ability. He's a smart player, and every time he gets on the ball, he's got opportunities to play the final pass or just keep possession. And I think the thing that's impressed me the most, Jake, has been defensively. I feel like defensively, he's really stepped up. He's made harder challenges this year. Not used to doing that, probably coming from the way he played as a youth player. So I think that's been an important facet to his game to change, and we've seen just a ton of growth from him, and it's just shown for the Timbers. It's been so helpful having him on the pitch.
Well, the guy who came in for him in his position at the end of the match is Andy Polo, and we haven't really gotten into that goal yet. What a goal from Andy Polo. It's a guy who's in his 3rd season for the Timbers. It's his 2nd goal in all competitions for them. He's a Peruvian international, went to the World Cup, has played in a Copa America final. We haven't seen that from him. That was spectacular tonight.
Well, I said it on the call. I said, where did that come from? Yeah. Because we hadn't seen that from him, from Andy Polo. I don't think even in training sessions. And for me, you look at a guy like that, he's on the outside looking in, just in terms of trying to get back into the starting lineup. He got pushed out, by Eric Williamson, by Jimmy Chara, and so now he's on the outside looking in. He needs big moments like this to get himself back into the mix. And I think he saw this opportunity in transition. He cuts it in on his right foot. He says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take this one to the house. And he certainly does. And what a fantastic strike for Andy Polo. And what a great moment for the Timbers. They needed an insurance goal, and Andy Polo provided that for him.
You could see it meant a lot to the whole team. I mean, the way everybody surrounded Andy, he was doing his dance for his daughter, and he ran to the sideline. That moment seemed like it meant a lot to the whole team.
It did. And you know that a team is tight but based on the way they celebrate their goals. And for the team to get around Andy Polo like that and to say, hey, man, like, congratulations, we're all happy for you. You can tell how tight the Timbers are down there in Orlando. And it's been a long trip for them. They're away from their families, their friends. So it's nice to see the team, vibing like that, getting the results and celebrating together.
Yeah, and moving on together to the semifinals to face Philadelphia Union. Here is our Carl's Jr. look ahead for the semifinals Wednesday night, 5 p.m. on FS1 against the Philadelphia Union team that has looked really good this tournament.
They've looked really, really good. They play an exciting brand of soccer. It's transition-based. They have good possession. Defensively, they're very, very sound. It just seems like Jim Curtin, head coach, has done such a good job in establishing identity, for this team, but also getting players who are just buying into that identity. It's a smaller market club in MLS, but they've gotten the most out of the group they have.
Yeah, they beat Sporting Kansas City 3-1 a couple nights ago in the quarterfinals, and now the Timbers semifinals opponent. And a player who has stood out, who's been getting a lot of hype, rightfully so, their young number 10, Brendan Aronson. Here's the head coach, Jim Curtin, on his young midfielder.
I thought was dominant. He was active. His movement off the ball to find space was really good. The ball he plays on the third goal is that's a top ball in any league. In any league in Europe, that's a pass that not many people see. His confidence is very high right now. When some players tend to shrink to the occasion, he tends to raise his level and raise his game. So I don't know how long I'll get to coach him for, how much longer, but I'm going to enjoy every day. He's going to continue to push and try to get better.
He's a 19-year-old number 10 central midfielder, homegrown, and played a great ball in the third goal for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and he unlocks things for the Philadelphia Union. You need a guy like this who's active, who's always buzzing around, who's finding space all over the field to play that final ball. And here you see just how easy he makes it look to turn Graham Zusi, who's a fantastic defender in his own right, make him look silly, and then play that final ball. And I think for the Timbers, he's a younger player. He still has some inexperience, and I think you could get stuck into a player like that in a big moment like this. If you're Laris Mabiala, Diego Chara, really put him off his game.
And he plays at the tip of the diamond for the Philadelphia Union, one of the only teams that plays consistently in that formation that you're so familiar with, Matt, the 4-4-2 diamond. So tactically, give us a preview of the matchup on Wednesday night.
Well, as you see from the screen, all the numbers for the Philadelphia Union are in the center of the field. And so for the Portland Timbers, they're going to have a field day playing the ball side to side, switching the point of attack, and really working transition, especially in those areas, in the wide areas. So if they can do that, they put a guy like Sebastian Blanco out there on the wing. They get the outside backs to overlap. They can have a really strong night against this Philadelphia Union team.
Of course, the diamond formation, the one that Real Salt Lake, a team you were part of, had so much success for at the beginning of this year, but you don't see it as much anymore, right? It's more the 4-2-3-1, which we've seen from the Timbers. Tactically tonight, getting back to that, it seemed like Gio switched to a 4-4-2, at least defensively at some point, and that helped settle things down. What do you make of the tactical moves from the Timbers this evening?
Yeah, I thought they were spot on. I think that initially I was surprised by the way the Timbers sat back defensively and really invited NYCFC to come and play and pressure them. But I think part of that was to rest some of the legs. You can't go and pressure a team for 90 minutes, especially when you're on short rest. So I think the Timbers did a good job of absorbing the pressure. And then, again, I think they grew into the game as the game came along. And then you saw some of the tactical switches. Mora comes in and plays as an outside winger. Nias Goda comes in up top, which was important. And I think that Sebastian Blanco, the whole time was composed, really was playing some of his best soccer, both sides of the ball, which was really important for the Timbers.
2 goals, 5 assists now for Sebastian Blanco. He's getting MLS's back MVP buzz on Twitter tonight, rightfully so. He's been fantastic for the Timbers, who have been fantastic this tournament. And now they move on to the semifinals, one of 4 teams left in Orlando at this unprecedented competition. They'll face the Philadelphia Union Wednesday night at 5 o'clock on FS1. That does it for us here tonight, our Portland Timbers postgame show presented by Old Trapper. What a game, what a win, what a fun night for the Timbers in Orlando. Let's do it again on Wednesday. We'll be back for pregame and postgame coverage of the Timbers in Philadelphia in the semifinal on Wednesday night. But for now, for Nat Borchers and our entire crew live at Providence Park, I'm Jake Zivin. Final score, Timbers 3, New York City 1. Have a great night.